morning, everyone, and welcome to the show. Whenever you hear the word multiple sclerosis mentioned in the news, normally within the same breath, you hear the word incurable spoken. For those that suffer with this disease and wait for a cure, they long for something to reduce the symptoms and give them back what is known as a normal life. One woman from the Northwest thinks she has a medicine that could do just that, but she is fighting not only the disease, but the medical establishment. Amy Gann has got the story.
There's no cure for MS at the present time.
Elaine DeLack knows the desperation of living with an incurable disease. In 1985, she began to experience strange symptoms that doctors couldn't explain.
I would wake up in the middle of the night and couldn't move my left leg. Just couldn't move it, couldn't feel it.
After 3 years of trying to find a reason for her deteriorating condition, doctors finally discovered that Elaine had multiple sclerosis. But even more devastating than learning she had an incurable disease was hearing what treatment was available.
They said, you know, there's really nothing we can do for you. All you can do is get your sleep and eat good.
Determined not to let the disease ruin her life, she continued to search for someone who could help. Finally, she found a doctor who gave her hope.
He had been experimenting on himself. He had MS himself. And so I called him, and I got this prescription in the mail. I didn't even see the doctor. And I got it filled, and I started these medications, and he put me in remission.
With a complete remission of the disease, Elaine was able to go to college and receive her nursing degree.
I started working as a nurse, and some of my patients were MS patients. And I tried to get doctors to try these two medications, and they said, there's no medical documentation.
Convinced that others shouldn't be denied this amazing treatment, Elaine decided to conduct her own medical research using the two drugs.
And in researching these two, to see is there a common link? Why do these work? That's when I found what seems to be the real answer for me. And so then I just started answering every single question that we've never been able to answer on MS.
Elaine's theory is that MS is actually a viral disease rather than an autoimmune disease, which is the predominant theory today. To test the validity of her theory, she enlisted 10 MS patients to participate in a research study of the new drug that she named Prokarin. Jean Campbell, one of those participants, was disappointed with MS drugs currently available and questioned whether this drug would be any better.
Extremely skeptical. I was sure that I would probably have the same results. Well, it might work a little bit, but it's not going to do anything big.
Jean suffered from spastic tremors, extreme exhaustion, and could only get around using a walker.
And I noticed within 48 hours that my left hand hadn't been spastic on me. I hadn't stopped dead in my tracks in that 48 hours, and I thought, well, this isn't going to last. Little did I know.
Jean, along with the majority of the other patients participating in the study, continued to show improvement while using Prokarin.
8 out of 10 reported improvement.
Amazing improvement for some?
3 of them were very amazing improvements.
Going from what? Walker to?
Walker.
Without a walker?
Without a walker. 2 of them went from front wheel walker to within 1 week one went to a cane and one went to nothing. And they maintained that for the 90-day study.
Today, Jean and 5 of the other patients in the study group continue to use Prokarin.
Well, I'm now able to walk approximately 10 blocks without walker or cane. I'm actually finding myself wanting to get up and dance once in a while, or at least try. And I haven't wanted to do that for years. I haven't been able to do it for years.
Yes, this is Elaine DeLack calling. May I please speak with Dr.
Armed with dramatic results, Elaine hoped more doctors would be willing to try this new wonder drug. But that wasn't the case.
Well, I call a doctor and he slams the phone down on me, or I knock on his door, or I send him a letter, would you consider getting my information? And he just writes in great big letters across it, not interested.
Doctors cite several reasons for being unwilling to prescribe Prokarin. No FDA approval, too small a test group, and the possibility that the dramatic research results might be attributed to the placebo effect.
I get about 1 to 2 phone calls a week from all over the world with somebody saying that they have a treatment that really is curing MS. And so I tend to have to be a little bit skeptical when I hear these.
People with MS have an abnormally low level of melatonin.
Until Prokarin is approved by the FDA, few doctors are willing to take on the liability to prescribe it. But Elaine continues to slowly get the word out. She recently held a conference for physicians interested in learning more about Prokarin. Sometimes Elaine feels like David taking on Goliath, the medical establishment. But she's determined to do what it takes to make this drug available to MS sufferers.
Yeah, very frustrating. To the point where I say, you know, I'm in over my head. I can't do this. I'm out of my league. And within 20 minutes, the phone will call. The phone will ring. And it'll be somebody with MS that heard about what I was trying to do. And it's like, okay, God, I can't give up. I got to just keep going.
Elaine is currently working on FDA approval, but she needs some volunteers for some clinical studies. If you would like to volunteer, we can get you in touch with her by putting her number on the hotline and on the website at king5.com. Don't go away.